right, so we have a feature of a viewer here today. It's got a bodysuit underway. I do love doing these, even though, I don't know, sometimes they don't have that clickbait feel to them when you're just doing kind of a lesser-known person, but I think that's part of the charm for me, too. I'm more interested in some of the more obscure work that goes on out there.
All right. So this one is from Matthew Marom. It says, Dear Remy, I hope this email finds you well. My fiance and I are avid viewers of your content.
I'm sorry.
and we absolutely love your show, Remy Reacts. Your insightful and entertaining reviews have kept us hooked. Yep. I have some tattoos that I'm really proud of and would love to hear your take. They're a mix of skulls, a rose, a cover-up inspired by our guidance, faith, and some Japanese traditional work, etc., etc. It would mean the world to us to have your unique perspective on my art.
Oh, I've got a unique perspective. I don't know that necessarily means it's a good thing. We'll have a look.
Yeah. You're Japanese here.
So, it looks unfinished.
I was gonna say I would get this gone over.
Wow.
It looks like the art is nice, but it looks aged or unfinished.
It all looks washed out.
Mm-hmm.
Like it looks like we're observing this through a film or like some kind of a glaze. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like the format of it. I just think I don't know. It could use a little touch up.
What overpowers the whole fucking tattoo for me is the nice picture of these pandas and other critters on the wall here.
We have critters in suits in our house.
I'm much more interested in the panda bear.
We have a Mozart in a suit in our house that I made Remy for Christmas.
I just think if you're gonna frame them and put them on the wall, like the panda could use a nicer suit.
Better
know what
frame.
I mean? Like that's my thinking is like, and yeah, why? Anyway, I guess it's not my place to insult the man's decor.
As I said, we have Momo in a suit on our wall.
He sent me this sleeve, and I'm sure he wants my opinion on that more than his panda bear. I think that the flowers are a little strange, both of them that I can see here. It's cherry blossom and the fucking, it's on the tip of my tongue here. Anyway, shade that bad boy in, and I think that some dark spots and the cherry blossom would probably help too, and maybe another tone of red. It's pretty weak the way it is there. I got to see the scales on this thing. Did we get a picture of the scales anywhere? I don't think I'm gonna get a picture of the scales on the. We get a dragon. That's what it is. Okay, I was trying to figure out what it is. So, the mask is too small for my taste. Up on the shoulder there, that should have been the whole outer bicep, and like the koi.
Oh,
and
that's
then
a koi.
There's a koi, and then there's a dragon. The dragon is wrapping behind the koi there, but it's just so small. Like the background of this took up more of the sleeve than the core elements. Again, why is this so common?
I don't know. People do this. Sorry.
It looks like it was like some of this is really nicely done in a way. It's not really executed the best. Like some of these colors should be punchier, I feel. Mm-hmm. Maybe he suntans all the time, though.
I'm wondering. Right? He's looking like he's a bit of a gym tan kind of guy.
Yeah, that could always be the case that this has just been baked a bit, and so the colors have dulled out. Mm-hmm. It does have that kind of a look to it, but
which is fine. I think like there are parts of this that I really like. I like that mask a lot. I like
just
the
not
koi.
Enough contrast in the water around the mask. Like it's just too like the light blue into the even lighter blue that's going yellow-ish. I don't know if there was yellow used in there, but like there should be a little bit more dark in there to frame that.
Oh yeah.
And then the black in behind it, if it was solid and dark, it would push all of this out more. Mm-hmm. And then I would just get rid of this, whatever this was supposed to be here, and just put more solid black in there. And all of a sudden that mask pops forward. Same as behind the mask. Actually, like if you were to get rid of all of the flowy, like wavy bars here, and just pound hard black behind all of that, all of these things stand out better. It's not going to fix the sizing for me, but all of a sudden you've got core elements that feature here, right? And that's what you always want. You want your core elements to feature, and they're not dark enough to be in front of this light background. So you would want to make the background dark, or you would want to darken them up so they stand out in front of the light background. Again, we're talking contrast here, right? And
yeah.
all of it looks similarly toned. Even though there's multiple colors in here, they don't really stand apart the way that I would like them to.
Yeah, I definitely think that it could just use some rejuvenation, like pump some blacks into that background, put some fresh colors in, get some punchier contrast in your key elements there, and I think
they did too much winding with the snake. It's really hard to follow. Like it's really like, and when you look at it like dead on, this sleeve, we'll talk about the other sleeve after, but when you look at it dead on, this right sleeve, I'm looking at nothing from the front.
Yeah, I'm not.
There's nothing.
I'm seeing a tail and some flowers.
It looks like that generic tattoo sleeve. Like it's just like cool sleeve, but like you don't see anything. You don't see anything from any point other than the mask, because everything's wrapping.
Yes, that's true.
You don't want to place things that way. You want to be able to see what they are at a glance. So when we get into this chest piece, again, the problems continue here, where it's 10 pounds of shit in a 2-pound bag. And
yeah,
I really don't want to go too hard on this guy.
It's just too small. I think like this tiger is really cool.
Go with the tiger face.
I should have gone bigger. Like even this whole thing could have wrapped up over your collarbone instead of having
tiger
all these
face,
background elements.
Cobra face.
Yeah.
Panther face.
Right. Or
background.
like everything bigger, and then.
Well, you can't do this much bigger. You just. This is where this comes in here. We do panther face, cobra face, tiger face.
You could fit
Waves.
the whole bodies way bigger. They could just wrap up more.
They would never be as striking, though. And to most people, they're going to read this the same way either way.
Yeah.
Like
and then,
it's going to be the same composition, whether you go big or small.
I think they're just better, bigger with less background. But I like the faces are good too. And then I'm immediately bothered by the
framed nipples.
Framed nipples.
That's going to always bother. See, and down here on the stomach, like that bird, whatever the fuck bird that is, it's kind of the right size.
It's a phoenix, is it? I think it's a phoenix.
It's not phoenix colors, but it's something.
Peacock?
A peacock, maybe?
I don't know.
They got more phoenix in there than they
Thunderbird?
got background, but it's just so indistinct from everything. Like all the colors look washed out.
Well, they didn't do like when you're doing like these shapes. Usually, you'd throw some black in there too, wouldn't you?
I mean, there might have been some black in there at some point. It does look like there was some black in some places, but not hard enough. So, the colors don't contrast enough, though, is the main problem. Because like this could be a 20-year-old tattoo and still look pretty crisp. Like if you use like dark and light colors, but pretty much everything is light. Like when you look at this, there are no dark colors used. Even in the color on black sleeve that Rick and I are using, we'll get limited returns over black, but we're using dark and light colors everywhere we're using colors. It's like if you're using dark colors, use light colors to bring out the dark and dark colors to bring out the light. When you just use light colors like this, it's like you can't really see the movement of anything. So, though there are a lot of different colors in there, they're not really accenting one another.
Nothing's popping.
So, here we have on the other sleeve, this is better. This sleeve, when we look at this is a better sizing.
Yeah.
You still got a lot in there. There's still a lot in there.
Skull sleeve, right?
There's more in there than what I would suggest most times. But there's a good amount of detail in this skull here because it's the right size. Same thing, that rose up there is fairly well detailed, and so is the fire coming off of it. So I do like this second sleeve quite a bit more. I don't think that the caliber of tattooing is a hell of a lot better. I think it's about the same quality of work, and I don't think the other work is terrible either. It's just they used better ideas here. Like there's more contrast.
I think they tried to fit too much on the other side.
I believe that this guy here sent me this Faith is done over black. too.
Oh,
so
cool.
the red is red on black, and that's white and black on black in there. He used
yeah,
the
it totally
methodology
looks like
that I've been talking about on Remy Reacts, or not Remy Reacts, my channel in general forever, where you use white and black together, and then colors will pop that forward.
Looks great.
Yeah, that looks great. That's a fucking awesome little tattoo in there. So I like this sleeve overall way better than the other one.
I agree with that.
And then this must be a loved one on his back here, is it?
And probably the loved one's handwriting, I'm assuming.
Yeah, and this is a Bible quote, is it? I think that is.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Something.
God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. I think that's a Bible quote, but I could be wrong.
Something.
That's a really nice portrait. It just looks old.
Yep.
Could just use some touch-ups. But like that's
it is a nice portrait.
That's a nice portrait that's aged well. I can tell that's been there a while.
Bring some black back in there. It'll rejuvenate it for sure.
This is the right scale if you're going to do something like this. Like I'm not taking any cracks at this because like the fact that I could read all of that script and I could tell you for a fact that this is older.
Yep.
That's high praise to the artist. They used a font at a size that a complete stranger can pick it out and read it all the way through.
I'm feeling like this is likely this person's handwriting.
I mean, it's someone's hand. Well, whoever's handwriting it is, it was done very well.
Yeah, it's very legible.
That's clean, clear script, and most script isn't. Most script is very hard to read if you're not the person that had it done reading it, right? So that's another reason why we always try and get people to choose, legible fonts, because most times it's just vomit to anyone but you.
It's true, yeah, and I'm always trying to make things very readable when I'm tattooing script.
Yeah,
I
this
do
is
agree.
a really nice striking sleeve.
I like this. The other sleeve, the artist was good. It's just way too busy. This one, I'm seeing all the separate elements.
I didn't hate any of the other stuff.
I didn't hate it. It's just busy.
Busy and small, and they wanted too much. This sleeve, they got everything right. From a sizing, like I would have had probably less skulls. Just up front, especially on the forearm, I probably would have done 2-3 skulls. They've got a lot of skulls, but they're all there, and because they used good contrast ratios in their light to dark, all those skulls get to breathe. And whenever you do color behind a black and gray foreground, it does separate everything. Like they did a really, really good job of putting dark, negative, and color and making it all flow together. Because sometimes negative space, when you're doing solid color versions of things, you have a solid color skull and a solid or a negative space black and gray skull. Those can look so separate, they're not even part of the same sleeve sometimes. But because they use the same background elements through the whole thing, it looks very intentional. Like this looks very well thought out. And the nice thing about this is if he did down the road want to add color into those other skulls, that's an option
doable,
too.
Right?
But I like it as a light source, and like because they brought that color down behind the skulls, they don't look disjointed or like an afterthought.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
Obviously the black portions of this, everything, if you solid those up, everything else in the foreground would stand out more. The fire would look, brighter.
More fiery.
But like that's a minor complaint, and I really feel like these are pretty old tattoos, so
yeah, either older or we enjoy the sun, which
Yeah.
I mean it's fine.
yeah. I mean, we're not all vampires because
and not all of us live somewhere that has
I haven't been
winter
on a beach
for
in fucking
6
20
months or
years.
whatever, right? Like sunshine exists.
Yeah, we're in winter 8 months a year, so it's a great place for the bloodthirsty denizens of the night like myself. I don't love the sun doesn't love me. We have an understanding, but overall I think that this guy has a cool aesthetic. I'd like it more if he got rid of the nipples, and crank up the contrast in your chest and your torso, and try and get them more in line with what you have happening on your left arm, because I think that's the gold standard of this suit. I'm really fond of the left arm. It's growing on me more as time goes on. I'm a filthy color slut though, so I like all color tattoos more. These ones just hit the mark more than the rest of them did.
Mm-hmm.